Look, if you're still using creams, antibiotics, or even if you're blaming hormones for your acne, I totally get you. I also used to have cystic, painful acne that just never went away, no matter what I tried. But the truth is, your skin is not the problem. It's your gut that's broken. And once I fixed my guts, all those issues vanished and my skin became crystal clear. No medication and no expensive products. You don't need a 10-step skincare routine. What you do need, however, is real nourishing foods so you can heal your guts. So let me tell the story from the beginning to the end so you guys can apply what I did and eventually heal your gut and get rid of your acne. Because let's be honest, acne isn't something that's cute or handsome. Most people cope and say that it is. I don't understand why. Acne is a sign of you being unhealthy, and unhealthy is not attractive. So let's break it down. My acne did not start in my teenage years. Most teenagers today have acne and they blame it on hormones. We're going to debunk that later in the video, by the way. But I did not experience that. What happened to me was I experienced acne in my early 20s. And this is even weirder, to be honest. Now, I did try everything, every single cream out there, every single medication, not Accutane, of course, because I'm not that gullible. But every single cream, every single skincare routine you can think of. I had a day cream, a night cream, I had a serum. I even used SPF. I don't even know why I would never use that toxic chemical compound today. But everything, even like special diets. Oh, don't eat this, but eat that. Nothing worked. And I would spend hours doing research because I didn't feel confident. And to be honest, you shouldn't feel confident when you have acne. It's not something that's nice. Everybody will pay attention to the acne. They won't pay attention to you. If you ever experienced something like acne, you probably know what I'm talking about. When you have a conversation with somebody and you have acne all over your forehead, their eyes are not going to look into your eyes. They're instead going to look in your forehead. So as I said, I used to do research. I looked at which products which were best. I looked at YouTubers who talked about skincare, and it would work initially. Maybe for 1 or 2 days, the acne would calm down, but eventually it would just flare back up. And this wrecked my confidence, as I said. I hate to be in photos. And the sad thing is I never even took photos of myself when I had acne. I have 6 or 7 photos. I wish I took more so I could show you because I never took photos when it was the worst. And the worst part, I didn't even like looking into the mirror. What type of life is that? And I know that so many of you can relate. So please keep listening and you will be able to heal the acne in your guts. What no one told me is that my skin is actually a reflection of my internal health, my organs, and more specifically, your gut. If your digestion is messed up, if you have some type of leaky gut symptom, if you have IBD or IBS, then you can know for sure that that is the thing that you want to target first and foremost. You do not want to buy skincare products because that's not the issue. The root cause of the matter that we want to attack is your gut. We want to heal the gut lining. And this is the problem with teenagers. Teenagers are usually more susceptible to junk food, and that leads to them causing inflammation all over their body. And the first thing that usually breaks down in our body is our gut, because that's our detoxifying system. When the gut breaks down, the skin will have more problems. And we also live a sanitized world where we give antibiotics to every single symptom that we notice, which is kind of weird because antibiotics kills the microbiome. What happens when the microbiome is gone from your gut? Make it more susceptible to invasion of pathogens and leaky guts. And if you have candida or dysbiosis, which actually most people have, good luck clearing your skin with just the topical stuff. Now, what finally worked was simple, but it wasn't easy because it took time to transition. And it took countless hours of research. And you also had to kind of let go of that mainstream belief that you had. So what I did is I cut out all sugar, no dairy, seed oils, no plants, vegetables, nothing. I only ate meat and nothing else. I ate meat, salt, and water. And this, my friends, is called the Lion's Diet. And it's a variation of the carnivore diet, which I'm sure you've heard. What I also did was I used to include meat stock or bone broth into my diet. And the reason for this is because you want that collagen. Collagen inside meat stock and bone broth especially is so good for your gut lining. It will help rebuild that barrier so no pathogens can invade. I also added in things like liver or oysters just to boost my immune system because those two things are actually nature's own multivitamin. Now, you don't have to do that. you can certainly do well off with just meat stock, bone broth, and consuming lots of red meat and saturated fats. However, if you come from a nutritional deficient background, I highly recommend you to consume some type of organ meat or some type of seafood, such as oysters, just because they're packed with vitamins and minerals. This was back in 2022. And to be honest, like within 4 weeks, my skin cleared up. And this was crazy. My scar tissue that I had all over my face also eventually cleared up. And this is something that we don't see in today's society. People that hop on Accutane, yes, they might get clear skin, but we always see that their scar tissue is deep and it's still there, almost all of their life. And on top of that, my face overall started to look less inflamed. And this is a bonus, of course. You know, I hated walking around looking all puffy all the time. That's what we call cortisol face. And over time, the texture evened out. You know, my skin got so much smoother. The natural oils came back. And I just felt better overall. You know, I could finally take selfies. I could finally actually look into the mirror and be proud and confident in what I saw. I could eventually also start talking to people and look into their eyes because I wasn't concerned about them looking onto my forehead. And what's wild is all these skincare routines that I tried, all those products that I tried, none of them worked. And I'm sure that so many of you feel that struggle. You know, you spend hundreds of dollars every single month on these products and they don't even help you. And what I'm telling you is to just buy food. Like, you are still going to buy food. So the method I'm telling you here is something that you would eventually do by yourself. The only thing I'm telling you is to maybe not buy those toxic foods, you know, the plants, the vegetables, because they're filled with anti-nutrients like lectins, phytic acid, oxalates, and instead focus on animal products because they're more bioavailable and they will actually heal your body from within. And you guys, if you focus on healing your gut, you will feel so much better. Your skin won't just heal. You will feel better mentally. You'll just feel better overall. And you know, the funny part here is I'm not a dermatologist. I'm just a guy who was tired of following mainstream advice, listening to doctors, and never getting the results I wanted. This way of eating has fixed so much more than just my skin. The skin issue was probably the least of my problems. I also used to have a, autoimmune condition, which was called ulcerative colitis. I managed to put that shit into remission. Can you imagine that? It's unbelievable. So if you're dealing with stubborn breakouts, if you're dealing with eczema or something related to your skin, and you've tried countless of routines, countless of medication, creams, whatever, try this approach instead. Because I can assure you, if you decide to heal your gut and if you decide to take my advice, guys, you will heal. If you want more videos like this, please consider subscribing to this channel. And also consider to subscribe or follow me on my other social platforms. I post daily on TikTok and on Instagram. I will link those two down below. And it's also easier to reach me there if you need my help or if you just want to reach out and tell me something. I will be sharing every single thing that helped me through my health journey because these last 3 years has been absolutely unbelievable. And I've managed to put so much into remission. I've transformed my life. And I want nothing but the best for you guys out there. So guys, as I said, if you enjoyed this video, drop a like, comment below, and share this with a friend that might be suffering with some type of skin issue. Thank you so much for watching and see you guys in the next one.